What's going on, disconnected community? It has been an interesting day. I did not plan on streaming tonight, and a friend of mine, Aaron Pinn, was on the Serial at Midnight channel, and I've got the link for that below. And I figured I wanted to talk about it, so hopefully we get some viewers in here. But I am not the only one that wanted to talk about this. A friend of the channel, Jeremy Long, should be joining here in just a little bit. But even though it's not Tuesday, I figured we could all use a special helping of Flip.
What's up, guys? Woo!
How we doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you, buddy?
Doing pretty well. It's been a long day, and I'm stoked because I am off for the next 3 days. I'm gonna take some rest time and try to just recoup. There's a lot of stuff I need to work on.
This is the first 3-day break in a long time.
So, oh, you had one too? Oh, Easter. Hello, yeah.
Easter, yep. Praise the Lord, he is risen.
Movies by E is a collector and proud, he says. Dave's going on here. Dave's going on. What's going on, Dave? Glad you're here. Jeff says, I collect because heroin is bad for my health. That makes sense. What's up, Eric? And then 100's here. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Flip. How we doing? So, if you have not watched the Serial at Midnight video, the rundown of it is basically they talked about the word collector and collecting essentially as a slur at this moment. In the hobby and video store. What's going on? It's been a while since I've seen you. Yeah, so basically he said both of them on the stream said that collecting surrounding this hobby is turning into a negative thing, and they don't call themselves collectors because it has a negative connotation. And not that I took it personally or anything like that, because I mean, as you're going to hear in just a second, I personally could not possibly care less what they think. However, I sign off all of my videos literally saying, from one collector to all of you, have a good night, because I am a collector. And I want to preface all of this as by saying, do what you want. That is literally like my only rule for all of this. What's going on, Flickering Waves? And Fanatical
and Dragon, my brother from across the pond. Love you.
Yeah, so that's how I lead through all of this. I may want to collect all releases from a single label because I want to. And if I want to do that, it shouldn't be a problem. What about you? What about the word collecting for you?
So I've been a collector of a few things. Manga being what my channel mainly was. And you do get into the collector's mentality where you want to collect as much as possible, or you want to collect things from a certain publisher. For instance, like so this is going to bring up 2 points that they bring up that they talk about. Talk about the fear of missing out, which FOMO, which I think is real, and I think it's okay to have FOMO. And for me, when I was collecting manga, Dark Horse, all of their stuff would go out of print eventually, and I think they were the best label. They had the coolest titles. I was into like Berserk. I still have Blade Immortal up here. They published, the violent, cool seinen, which seinen manga is targeted for like young adults to adults. And there's always a fear of missing out. And then now, there are certain things I do have a fear of missing out. And this is going to tie into another point of theirs, like slipcovers. So, for instance, 88 and Eureka, they have 2 lines of Asian films. They're mostly martial arts based, and the first print run will have a cover, a booklet of some sort, and I want to have the collection to all be unified. And I think it's okay to want that. I think to kind of like not didn't necessarily shit on people, but they seem like they were talking down. And a lot of the video, I love Aaron and Heath, and I want to preface this by saying I love them. But it sounded
we have both been involved with both of them for a long time.
Yeah,
respect the hell out of both of their channels. Not looking down on them at all.
But it sounded like 2 boomers just complaining to complain. It just seemed like a pointless video, and also it was this air of like, oh, I'm a cinephile curator. It's like, first off, the fear of missing out is real, and let's say you get into a genre late. Like, let's say You watch Lone Wolf and Cub because because you collect Criterion, right? And you want to collect every Criterion, which is a real thing that people do. Daisuke Beppu does it, and I think that's a good label to have a whole a entire collection of, because you get movies from all across the world, from all different walks of life, from all different points of view. And but let's say you watch the first Lone Wolf and Cub film, and you go, "Wow, I want more of this." So then you order the Zatoichi set. You go, "Wow, I want more of this." So then you order Seven Samurai, Harakiri, but they don't scratch that same itch that Lone Wolf and Cub and Zatoichi were doing. So you Google movies like Lone Wolf and Cub, right, or movies like Zatoichi, and you come across something like this. This is out of print. This goes for way much, like $300 for something. It's dumb. But if you were a collector during that time, you got this for $40, 3 movies. So you have a fear of missing out. So if any label starts putting out stuff like that, you're gonna want to grab it right away. And I think that's a totally fine mentality to have. The only thing I do agree with them is that there are people who just collect everything. And I think that is a little silly. Like, I have friends in real life who collect every Best Buy release, and it's like, to me, that just seems silly. Like every Best Buy exclusive Steelbook or 4K.
Well, point of order here. First thing is, I don't necessarily agree that it came across as two boomers just talking down. What I felt is an air of pretension. It didn't necessarily come across as boomer to me. It came across as, my way of doing it is better than your way of doing it. And the fact, and you said it, and Jeff did here as well, they regard themselves as curators. That's great. I understand and completely understand, if you are able to come from that, why you would say that. However, there are lots of us that are literally just doing like what Eric says here. Discovery is very much a part of this whole thing. And I was talking to Flip earlier, and I shared that, I came from a smaller town, from a family that didn't have a ton of money. And I really only had access to the most mainstream of mainstream titles. Like, we're talking only blockbuster style titles. And what's going on, Nathan? Glad you're here. It was something that I wanted to point out, that if I can't curate because I've never seen them, I'm just never going to see most films. And they brought up the fact that they are buying what they're passionate about, which is great. You do you. But I think that there are potentially thousands of films that I could be passionate about that I've never seen. And if I personally want to see those by buying them on physical media, that shouldn't be something that we look down on. And then the second thing is, you said, somebody collecting everything from Best Buy or something else, it could be silly. I go back to what I just said is, if they want to do it and they're not hurting anybody in the process, who cares?
Scalpers do suck. And I think we can agree with that in general. But I feel like now scalpers are less and less because, and I talked to you about this on the phone earlier, Arrow used to tell you how many were in a box set. Like, I think the Battles set was 2,500 copies. What's going on, Ice? So when you saw that, you probably went, "Oh crap, I better pick that up because I don't want to, fear of missing out." Right. And now that it's out of print, it's been out of print for years. The price is just up it's just gone up. But there are other means to get that movie. You can get the reprint of the box set, or you can get those singles. But now Arrow doesn't even tell you how many copies are in their box sets, how many prints they do. And stuff seems to stay in print for a long time. Like, if any of their Irizumi, Blind Beast, I think all of those still are available with the slipcover in the book. I think you can pick those up still like that. So I feel like scalpers are getting less and less. And a lot of the Facebook groups, you see less and less scalpers. People are pricing stuff pretty fairly, in my opinion. And, just like you said, if you go on eBay or Amazon, you see the battle set selling for $400. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sell it for $400, but you are going to sell it to help move. Something's value is dictated by the market. And then the other big thing that they were talking about was graded content, like graded VHSs or graded. That's in every community. That happens. That's happening in video games right now. People are getting graded like Switch games. It's just
the thing I'm laughing at is people buying VHS cassettes and getting them
Yeah.
graded. They're
Yeah,
all going to grow mold. Period.
Yeah, that's a Ponzi scheme. Like that's just like, and a lot of those people who sell those graded things are buying it themselves to hike up the artificially inflate the price. So no matter what hobby you're in, that graded system is going to be there. So you just got to kind of like ignore that whole thing because that's built into any hobby at all. If there's a way to make money and exploit people, stuff like that's going to pop up.
Yep.
But when they said that they only buy movies that they like, and then one of the points that they said is they use streaming as a means to explore. People like me who have a very niche taste, where the heck am I going to go and watch? Where am I going to go watch obscure 1960s Shaw Wuxia movies? Where am I going to go watch 70s samurai movies? Where am I going to go watch spaghetti westerns? There are a few on certain platforms, but there's most of the streaming stuff doesn't have any of that stuff at all. So for people like me, blind buys are almost like a must at this point. And some of my favorite things I've ever watched are all blind buys.
I agree.
So, I mean, and I do try, and I do think it's important to try out new things. And I've famously with you have tried noir a handful of times, and it just hasn't clicked with me. But I have dipped my toes blindly into that water, and I've tried stuff. So I do think it's just silly to be like, oh, only collect what you truly want. It's like, well, what happens if you want to have a little bit of everything? What happens if you want to have every Arrow release and every Criterion? Like, who does that hurt? Who does that bother?
Right.
Midnight Pulp does have some. I do want to point this out. Midnight Pulp does. They have an anime branch too, and I think their streaming service is free. They do have some stuff, but like, where am I going to go and watch again the Mikogami trilogy? Nowhere. That's not streaming anywhere. The only way to really watch that is on DVD or on a pirate site. So
Brent says, I'm discovering so many cool movies, not on streaming. It's a great time to be a physical media collector. I won't even say it's the great time. I would say that it's quite possibly the best time. Primarily, not only because it's in like the highest definition and highest quality, but because we are having a larger pool of titles than ever before because of literally a worldwide access at this point. Literally being able to online shop has changed everything. And then some of these other comments, John, this is an important one. A collection can and probably should evolve. It can grow or shrink as interests shift and life changes. The films themselves are king, but the collection is something that sparks joy and pride for me. And one of the things that they did come across as something I would agree with here is that they were attacking speculators and scalpers. Now, one thing that I wanted to make clear is that a lot of people, they go online and they really attack people for scalping, and they use the word scalping, but scalping has an actual definition that needs to be understood when you're using that word. If I buy, the hot item that you're talking about tonight, the Battles Without Honor and Humanity set, if I buy that on day one and it's, I think it was like $50 on release, something like that, and I resell that with the book 3 years after it releases because I see that it's on eBay selling for $400 and I sell it for $400, that does not make me a scalper. That makes me somebody who is reselling my own item. However, a scalper would be somebody that sees that that is selling for $50 and says, I'm going to buy 50 of them at $50 because I think I can raise the value of these on the secondhand market. So it is a very different thing.
Yeah, right here. I really wish Arrow still did this, but it says limited edition Blu-ray collection, 2,500 copies. So, also, like you said, there's people who are going to see that this has sold. This set has sold on eBay for like $700. I have seen it sold on eBay for $700. So there are people who are going to see that and go, well, I have it. I can buy the singles total for like $40. I'll sell the set, get the movies. Which someone did to me. They sold me this for much less than what I was going for, just because they didn't want the box set anymore. They just got the singles. And then there are people like me who have actively sold out of print box sets for almost retail value, just because it's like, oh, hey, we're all friends in this community. So scalpers do suck, yes, but people who have something that is of value, because you could, let's say you do sell this. Let's say you want to be a good person and you say, hey, I'm going to sell this for $100. You might sell it to a scalper, and then they'll turn around and sell it for $300, $400. So
right. Ragnar commented on me saying that it is the widest area for physical media, and he says, not necessarily true. There are a lot of more movies on DVD than there are on Blu-ray and 4K. Look at the numbers. Not quite what I was saying. I'm saying that, we have worldwide access to the largest pool of physical media. So even though, yes, there are more movies that are currently available on DVD and not necessarily still in print, but that were printed on DVD, we have access to more options, and it's more realistic to be able to say in 2022, I want this French release of a film because it caters to my specific wants for that film. In 1998, that it did exist that people were seeking those out, but the market was not the same as it is now. It was nowhere near as accessible. So
also, I feel like buying a movie and knowing you're not going to watch it right away and shelving it for, let's say, a year is no different than seeing something on Netflix and putting it on your watch list, not returning it. So even if you are buying it and not watching it right away, not enjoying it right away, which is what I feel like they were kind of like digging at, it's no different than going on Netflix and being like, oh, this show looks good. Squid Games looks good. I'll watch this later. Watch list. It's no different. It's absolutely
exactly the same. Yeah.
And also, FOMO, I mean this right here. 333 copies. Fear missing out 100%. You know what I mean? So
one of the things they brought up in response to that is that they said there are some labels that cater to speculators and scalpers. And the one that they seemed to mention a couple times was Vinegar Syndrome. And I am not going to be able to speak on this without sounding like a shill, especially after Brad Henderson was on this channel just a couple weeks ago. However, I would like to point out a few different things. One is that if they were truly catering to scalpers and speculators, they would print less copies of limited edition titles, not more. And when COVID hit and everything seemed to be booming for physical media, they raised their numbers of limited releases. Back in, I don't even remember what year I originally found Vinegar Syndrome, but back then, like their first slipcovers, those were coming out with print runs of 1,000 slipcovers. And we have slipcovers nowadays coming out in 10,000 copies.
How do you feel about slipcovers?
This is something that I was going to talk about after this. I personally want what the entire package for a movie should have been. I'm not a huge fan of buying them secondhand, but I also don't want to have something and feel like it's incomplete, and not necessarily in a collector's mentality. But if I really enjoy, this one I just got in from Scream Factory, Night Creatures, and I buy this 2 years from now and it doesn't have the slipcover, I'm going to flip that art on the inside, and I think that I would like the entire intended package for this film. So I don't know that I would seek it out necessarily, but it's there, and I feel like I would want it because I'm trying, they talk about being curators. I'm trying to curate what I have at home and being able to have the best possible version of what I have in my museum and library, which is what I call it, which both have curators, by the way. It is something that I want the best possible version of.
Yes. 100%.
Vinegar Syndrome does state their limits on their print runs, and it does have like a countdown on their page when you were buying things. All of that is true. However, if the print run is 8,000 and it's not selling out in 3 days, it's not really FOMO. The only thing is when there's super popular titles like Rad that is going to generate a larger audience. If you actually want the limited edition copy and they're going to bring on way more fans than they normally do for a certain film, yeah, you prioritize it if you really want that.
The only movie I was worried about was A Bullet Syndrome. I told you this on the phone.
Yeah.
So I pre-ordered right away. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, there's like 5,000. The Bullet Syndrome's not selling. Now,
Right.
the only label I do think I have personal FOMO for, and it's not because I don't feel like they're actively trying to do it. They're still relatively small. Is 88 Films. They feel like, like their small print runs feel like what Arrow used to do. I mean, all three of their Category 3 films of their box sets, Riki-Oh, Erotic Ghost Story, and Robotrix, all sold out. And Riki-Oh had a huge print too, and it sold out almost instantly. And then they did a second print run of the limited edition, and that sold out as well. And then almost immediately, standard version. So anytime 88 Films puts out any kind of Asian martial arts movie, I'm gonna pick it up, regardless if I've seen it or not. If I know nothing about the movie, I'm still gonna get it, just because I feel like they have curated a line that is trustworthy enough that I'm gonna check out. Like, for instance, Drive. I've never seen Drive in 4K. The Mark Dacascos Drive, not the Ryan Gosling. You've said it's good, right? I
Not
believe
that
it
one.
was
I've
you.
not seen that one yet.
Not you. Someone that I really trust their opinion on said it was good. So the moment it comes up on pre-order, I'm gonna get it. So, and then for people who are getting into like Shaw Brothers, because that's the hot thing right now, right? Is the Shaw Brothers movie. You are gonna be like, oh, cool. Every 2 months, every 3 months or so, there's 2 new Shaw movies.
Right.
I'm gonna get it. It's gonna have the slipcover. It's gonna have the reversible art, the booklet, and then Eric brings up a good label, Error 444. I love that label. I want to own everything that label puts out. And then the new Chameleon label from Australia. Yep. They're doing numbered spines. So for a lot of collectors out there, that's going to be a huge deal. Out of the 3 movies that they have announced so far, 2 of them I love. One of them I've never heard of, but I'm going to pick up that second one just so I have the full one. So.
Couple things. Drive is available to pre-order from Diabolic, by the way. Drive in 4K. It is switching in the US. I don't know if you heard about this. MVD Rewind had announced that, MVD Entertainment announced that they were going to put it out in 4K. 88 Films has suddenly took that over, and MVD is not putting it out in the US. 88 Films is. So I don't know why that changed necessarily. Ragnar brought up my next main comment that I want to talk about here. Boutique Blu-ray companies are the only companies that are in sales but limit their sales. I would say that is 100% false. That happens in a lot of different spaces. The only time that doesn't happen is with open-ended contracts. Now, in our current climate, if you have paid attention and you've been in this hobby for the last 3 years at all, you undoubtedly had to have noticed that there's manufacturing problems everywhere. One of the things that I will point out, there is one example of this that I despise, and I will talk about that, but everything else I think is pretty understandable. The one I despise that I want to bring up is Scream Factory. Scream Factory puts out their Roger Corman titles, and Heath and Aaron did talk about these. They bring out the Roger Corman titles as a 1,500 limited edition run as a site exclusive, and they're each $27, and they put up 1 or 2-ish a month, and once they sell out, they're gone. But the thing that makes it seem like they are catering to the scalpers and speculators is that depending on the release, sometimes they limit them to 5, sometimes it's limited to 3. Now, why would anybody need to buy 3 copies of Communion, I think that's the name of the title, from the 90s, the alien abduction movie? You don't. And that seems silly. And I guarantee you, most orders they got for that movie are not buying multiple copies. Otherwise, it would sell out in a couple weeks. And most of their limited edition titles are taking multiple months to sell out. Now, they own all of the Roger Corman library forever. They own it in perpetuity. Shout Factory will always have those titles. Do they need to be limited edition? No, they really do not. However, I kind of understand why, like Meat Cleaver Massacre that was just put out by them is only limited to 1,500 titles. And I think the answer for a lot of this lays in manufacturing. You have to have at least 1,000 print to get through the door of any of these companies that are going to be printing up the discs and the cases and all that for you. And how many, you're not going to see Meat Cleaver Massacre for sale in Best Buy. But Shout Factory, for example, is one of those companies that gets titles in Best Buy. Alligator in 4K, you can purchase from Best Buy in stores right now in most stores across the country. So if you're going to be selling titles like that, are you going to be able to print enough to go into Best Buy to make it worth your money that people are actually going to buy them? No, probably not.
Also, it being a site exclusive could potentially boil down to how expensive that entire catalog is. And when you are selling, let's say you sell it to Amazon, it's on Amazon. Amazon's going to take at least bare minimum 30%. 30%. And every transaction you do anything with a credit card or anything, a company, this is why my business doesn't take credit cards or debit cards, is every time someone uses a card, we have to pay the credit card company fee. And it's usually like 10%. So
it's around 2%.
Which is, sorry. 2%. Still, fucking, that adds up really.
That's very high, yes.
Really, really high. So, I think what Shout did is smart. You have an entire catalog forever. And why not sell it exclusively on your own store? Make the most cash back.
Right. Which, again, not really trying to defend them because I don't like the way they do it. I don't think that it should be limited to 3 or 5. If you want to really not bring any negative attention to you as a label, limit it to 1. Make it so every single home address can only receive 1.
Yeah, but what happens if the whole family is communion? I mean, the whole family's favorite movie is communion. You gotta get 1 for mom. You gotta get 1 for dad. You gotta get 1 for your big brother.
Okay, let's say 1 per email address.
Yeah,
or 1 per account.
I have like 8 emails. So.
Yeah, exactly. So 1 per account. If you're gonna go through all that time, sure.
But also, like you said, maybe they are pricing these or allowing 3 to 5 because they're not selling out right away.
Right.
It's taking months. And they probably go, oh, fuck, that was a bad game. It's taking forever.
But again, I don't know why anybody would want to buy 2 copies of Meat Cleaver Massacre. I'm sure you're not giving that away as a gift to a friend or anything like that.
I would.
To a point for certain titles that you really love. And that's why, doing it for 3, I understand. Doing it 1 per email address, I understand. I don't understand the hate on all of it necessarily. As far as the these are the only companies that limit their sales, it's just not true. There are certain times that places sell out and they just literally can't sell a product. That is limiting their sales. If they didn't limit their sales, it would be open and available at all times. But if you look at small businesses, which is what all of these labels are, they are not going to be able to have something infinitely in print forever. Now, the other thing to talk about on that is that most of these are not, stuck in a strictly limited edition print run of, say, 5,000 copies, and then we are done selling it. Some titles that is the case, like Vinegar Syndrome. They do that for the VSA titles. For most of them, they're using language now, which makes it seem like they're going to be able to release standard editions, but that may not always be the case. And if they're doing that, it's because usually it's written into the contract, period. But we do have that one friend I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, and I'd like to bring on Mr. Jeremy Long. How we doing, Jeremy?
What up? Oh, Flip's here?
He doesn't have to be. I mean, that's okay.
The drummer of Atomica.
Wow. He even gets my band name wrong.
Autonomica.
Auto whatever.
Auto Asphyxiation.
Good. Hey, by the way, guys, go listen to this band single. It's fire. Really good.
Thanks, buddy.
So, Jeremy, tonight we are talking about why we collect. And you, as far as I'm aware, collect from a handful of different labels. And you watched the video from Heath and Aaron this morning. So why do you collect, Jeremy?
So, yeah, I did watch that video, or at least most of it. it's interesting because I only met these two guys, one who I love very much, and the other one is Flip. And and I only met you guys through collecting, which is such a great bond to have, in my opinion. And we're all cinephiles, and we all have some things that connect us as far as our movie tastes go, but we're also, I think, all very extremely different with our tastes in a lot of ways too, which I really like.
Some have better taste than others.
Yeah, and we won't say who.
We're all looking at you, Flip.
I know.
I only started collecting some of these, like, boutique labels, as they're known, recently. Right around the time I met and started heavily talking with Ryan was right around the time I started collecting. And I think it was, quite frankly, I think it was partially pandemic spawned and having a surplus of time and money and things. Although I think it was probably actually more like 2019 that I started collecting, so like right before the pandemic, but it really kicked into gear when the pandemic started. The only boutique label I had previously gotten prior to that was Criterion Collection. Now, of course, I have, Shout, Scream, Vinegar Syndrome, Imprint, Second Sight.
Who's your favorite?
That's tough. I don't know. They don't have nearly as many releases as some of the other ones I collect, but I really love
Second Sight
putting out.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
Those are some beautiful, right? I'm like, am I wrong?
I think that they are still possibly the highest quality releases out there.
Yeah. They don't put out nearly as much, but what they do put out, it's quantity. There's quality over quantity. If I would go, Scream Factory is what I started when I started this craze. Post Criterion Collection, again, that's the only thing I had prior to going down this rabbit hole. Scream was what I started with, and I do still really like their releases a lot. They don't compare in a lot of ways to some of these other companies like Vinegar Syndrome or Second Sight as far as the quality of their releases, but I do like how they look on my shelf, and I like the original artworks on all the new releases and things like that. Look at Flip's face.
Yeah, we need to ban Nathan off. Criterion has the best catalog.
I don't think that's bannable. I would say that if you look at the overall history of Criterion, they have a hell of a lot more hits than misses.
It depends on what kind of movies you're interested in as
exactly.
well.
And that's one of the things I was going to say is all of these boutiques, you could make an argument for hating any of them based on what your personal tastes are. I personally dive into releases, which is why I love something like Second Sight, because I get this giant box. I get in like the last 5 releases they've done, we're not just talking booklets. They are sending like 150-page books, and I read every single one of those. So to have a poster, to have a book, to have like The Guest, it came with the soundtrack CD for the first time.
Yeah.
I've got all of that, plus all the special features. I like to pour through all of it. So something like that really appeals to me. And something like Criterion that used to be at the top of the game for that, they have fallen down my ability to respect them because we don't get the content that we used to get from them. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean that I don't collect from Criterion. I still get new stuff all the time. I still have I still have multiple releases.
She doesn't feel good. She's a little sick, you can tell. Can you say Bad Jeremy? Can you say Bad Jeremy? No.
She knows that you're lying. So that's why she won't say it.
So yeah, the recent Criterion ones, I really get the ones that I love. And like titles tonight leaked that they're supposedly about to announce tomorrow. I adore Bong Joon-ho, and I've wanted a physical release of Okja forever, and it looks like we're finally getting it.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I am stoked on that. I completely get that.
The last couple announcement, there's been at least one or two. I'm stoked that they picked up Worst Person in the World, because that was one of my favorite films of last year.
Nathan says Alien in LA has nothing on Bergman. While that's true, we also got to keep in mind the main thing that
comparing apple pie with a shit sandwich.
The main thing I always say on this channel is every single film has been somebody's favorite film. So even Alien in LA is something that some people appreciate Alien in LA more than any Criterion film.
Well, that's actually
wasn't that Jeremy's autobiography? Alien in LA?
Yeah. No,
that was really good. You got to
give Flip that one. I'll let you have that one. I don't even have a comeback. I discovered by going down, for again, lack of a better term, this rabbit hole of now collecting from all these different labels and things. I've discovered a whole kind of new breed of films, that I love, that I never would have, like the whole Vinegar Syndrome platform is films that I previously didn't really explore until this point in my cinephile life. And Criterion will always hold a special place in my heart because it started those are the ones I first collected before moving on to any of these other labels.
For like 20 years they were the boutique.
Yeah, they were. But I'm discovering all kinds of new films that not just the films themselves that I like, but styles of films that I hadn't explored previously through things like Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome and things like that. And so I love that. And so it's actually been opening up a lot of doors. To answer your earlier question, I've always been a movie collector because I've been collecting movies since I was like young teens, like 12, 13, 14. And I have a massive collection, just like we all do. Even prior to dipping into these boutique labels, just general movies, I had thousands and thousands of DVDs and Blu-rays and things. And so now, and of course now it's just more because now I have the stupid Vinegar Syndrome collection or subscription, which is not stupid, but it's stupid because it's making me not.
Why is that stupid?
It's stupid because
you don't want Dallas 2 and 4K, brother.
It's stupid because I'm running out of space and money. That's why it's stupid. But
I had to play. I got a package today and I had to play Jenga with how I was arranging stuff on the shelf. I was like, where is this going?
I just got my package this morning too, actually.
To really talk about blind buying, one of my favorite movies might surprise you guys, but it's literally a blind buy. When I was in Criterion mode, is Beau Travail, a French movie.
Travail.
Oh yeah. That's
adore that movie.
Claire Denis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that movie. Was blown away by that movie, and not normally my cup of tea. Not my thing. I'm not going to get this homoerotic French movie from the early 2000s, but.
Stefano
says we just need more shelves.
I mean, technically,
I had more shelves.
I also need a new apartment if I need, in order to get new shelves.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to collect. You know what I mean? I collect to collect, but I'm a little bit of both. I'm not blind buying everything, but I'm only collecting certain genres, and I will collect everything within those genres.
Martial arts. Yeah,
that makes sense.
The collect to collect. I mean, I don't know. It depends on how far we're going into that. They touch on these people who are buying just to resell. They touch on that in the video that you mentioned that we watched, Ryan. And obviously, I'm very much against that as well. I mean, if you want to pick up, if you don't actually intend on keeping it in your collection and you want to buy a Best Buy Steelbook when it comes out, or even 2 copies and resell them and try and make like $50, okay. But these people who are literally going into the Best Buy and buying like all 12 copies that morning and then just reselling them so that
those people
who shops at that Best Buy can get one.
Those people tend to get roasted in groups. Like if you see someone post like the Best Buy, I think it was Spider-Man Far From Home or whatever. Someone posted the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook, like a stack of them. He was doing the digital codes first and then the actual releases. Yeah. And people were like, "You're a piece of shit. Fuck you." And that no one bought them. So so that dude's just out of that money.
It's bad enough that it's bad enough that he's doing it, but then to like post a picture of it and essentially like brag about like like if you're gonna do that, do it in secret. Don't post on the group,
especially like, to collectors.
Yeah, that's like the stupidest thing you could do.
You know, there are things I would like to get from Best Buy, but it's like Steelbooks is the one thing I never understood until there was a Shogun Assassin Steelbook, and then I was like, well, now I understand.
I get Steelbooks for movies that I either really, really, really love the movie, and then they come out with a Steelbook, and I just kind of like want every version of it, Scott Pilgrim and some other ones, and then I'll also get a Steelbook if I really like the artwork on it better than the original release.
Same.
Otherwise, I have no use for Steelbook.
What Ryan did with his Steelbooks makes me want to collect Steelbooks.
What'd you do?
So
I've got. I think I can pull up
the
a
Marvel
picture of it.
He's got the Marvel ones, but they're all like. It just looks good.
Oh.
I've got them in you know, the protectors, and then on top of that, I've got them mounted on these little acrylic shelves on the wall that they have them on display. So I think I can display. Let me see if I can share from my camera's app. I think I can.
Also, there are some Steelbooks of stuff like I really want. Like I think Blade the Immortal got one. The John Wick series has like a bunch of variants that are all super sick.
Yeah.
The Raid 1 and 2. So,
yeah.
I said that, but there's a bunch that I want. I want to get Steelbook of Jeremy.
Steelbook collection, but it's all ones that I either just really love the movie.
I can't pull it up. I'll text it to you.
Okay. Really cool. It looks really.
But the point is, you know, I've been collecting.
Here, I can do this. I can pull it up on my phone.
Oh, that works. But I've only recently been doing the boutique labels. But, you know, I mean, what Flip was saying about blind buying is I've discovered so many films that I love through blind buying just because it was a recommendation or I thought it looked good. And you can always resell these things. And you don't, that just reselling doesn't mean that you're one of the people who resell as a profession. Right. If you just resell it for market value or trying to get your money back.
Here's my Steelbooks. So that's my Scream Factory and a couple that are not Scream Factory, John Carpenter's.
That's really cool.
And then I've got on my wall, I've got all of the MCU and Steelbooks. And then on this side, I've got some random things. Like I've got the Evil Dead trilogy, except I did Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and then Evil Dead 2012. And then the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. And then my top row is Tucker and Dale versus Evil, the Firefly trilogy, and You're Next.
Oh, Rob Zombie's masterpiece. Yeah, cinematic.
Yes, sir.
When's that hitting?
That's a great question. But to talk about all that, we did talk about some things before you got on here. And one of the things we talked about is the difference between reselling and scalping. And if I just shared a comment that somebody made a little while ago that your collection is going to evolve and change over time. And there are some things I had focused on for a long time, like media books. I love media books. I've got one right next to me that I can share. And Flip just showed one earlier. I've got the Creepshow 2 media book. And I just raffled this off because I have decided I need my space to go to other things. And it's not like I was holding that for 2 years to drive up the price or anything like that. But at the same time, I'm not going to sell it for $14 if it's worth $75 because I have a family to feed. So it's not scalping. It's just a matter of it's a market value for what you've got.
Yeah, because it's not like way back whenever that Creepshow 2 media book came out, you went online and bought 20 of them and was keeping them in the box in your closet waiting for
to drive up the price.
Yeah.
Family to feed. Sometimes you just want to be like Chris Benoit, so you have maximum money for.
Flip from the top rope.
The other thing I wanted
you mean from the Bowflex?
I didn't finish the video, but I watched about half of it. But they there's some heavy conversation about slipcovers, which I know is an age-old debate, especially in the groups that we're all part of. And I don't understand the hate. No, and by that I mean let people enjoy what they want to enjoy, and it really bothers me when people hate on it because it's just like, why are we're all collectors here. But my opinion of them is like, you know, like, I mean, like here's okay. So like Candyman, when I bought it, came with a slipcover, and it's the same. I don't need that slipcover. This is my personal opinion. I don't need a slipcover for a standard film release where the cover underneath is exactly the same. The reason I love the covers for like Vinegar Syndrome and Arrow and Scream Factory is because of the different artwork. And that's why I spent a very long time trying to get slip covers for some Scream Factory releases that I didn't have and things like that, because I like to display both of the artworks on them.
But there are also a lot of people that will go on eBay and buy a slipcover for a mainstream studio title that they just missed out on because they want to have it. And I am not one of those people that is literally making a list of all of my mainstream titles and saying which of these came with the slip and I have to go find them. However, if I buy it on release, I want it to be the full package. I'm not going to throw it away or anything like that. I want to have it be the full package that it should have came with.
I want to comment on this question. Our generation's lifespan has dropped. The previous generation was 80. It's 60 for us now. We're never going to enjoy that 401. So you better collect.
Either of those numbers are correct.
It's true. True.
Our current average lifespan is certainly not 60. Not to mention our generation.
For our generation. Our generation.
Here's my response to what Flip just said and the comment from, what was it, Nathan?
Nathan, yeah.
Guess what? My grandfather had a 401k, and that lasted him about 2 seconds, and he's back to work at age 77 or something like that.
And the line of work that I have?
In current America, that doesn't mean shit. No matter whether you have a 401k, you know, when things can be taken from you at any moment, and the powers that be want you to be struggling, you could, and jobs are paying minimum wage and less worker benefits left and right. We could do whatever we want to try and make ourselves comfortable as we get older in age, and it's almost going to be worthless and not helpful whatsoever. I'd rather enjoy the money that I have now on things and people that I currently am
also
experiencing.
Some of the shit I own, if I sold my whole collection, it's probably worth more than a 401k at this point, because like some of this stuff is really awesome.
A 401k doesn't have a value. First of all, you could have a 401k.
It's 401,000, Ryan. It's 401,000. That's what that stands for.
I get what everybody's saying there. Obviously, by definition, money is going to be better in a 401k than in a movie collection. However, I think the deeper philosophical point in there is, for a lot of our generation, money is not quite as important as it was to our parents' generation. That was the end all be all. And we seem to be a generation leaning towards understanding that we could die at 50. And if we have $4 million in retirement, that doesn't fucking matter if I'm worm food.
As someone who almost died, when I got better,
live on stream,
the first thing I said was, oh shit, I need to get a 401k. Fuck, I need to. Damn, he's alive. No, the first thing I said was, I need to watch more movies. From a parent standpoint, the most important thing for me, money-wise, if you want to get 401k, is to get a life insurance. That's pretty good. I don't care about my personal. I'm going to be working. Like, my grandfather was 82 when he retired from making pizzas. I'm going to die in that restaurant. That's just how it is. I don't want a 401k. I want 4k and maybe 8k one day.
And just like Eric says, you can have both. It's not something that you have to choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck because I have a movie collection. Just for the record, I'm doing quite well, and I still have a massive movie collection. So
yeah, same here. It's stupid.
You can't have both.
Yeah. Well, anything else from the video that you guys want to comment on?
If you guys could hang on 15 minutes while I finish it, that'd be great. And then maybe I'll have
The last thing I really just wanted to reiterate one more time is that the important thing is, if it's not hurting you or your family, and it doesn't matter to someone else because you're not stealing from someone or something, collect what you want to collect. Do what you want to do. I mean, if you really want to collect from every boutique label out there and you can afford it, and you're not like stealing from your child's bank account to be able to afford the release of, Second Sight's whatever comes next, who cares? I mean, if you make $300,000 a year and you live in like a $1,000 a month apartment, who cares if you buy every single release? You don't need to worry about what other people think about.
Nobody should worry about that. And I also don't like a lot of the sarcasm and hate and passive aggressiveness that happens.
It came off very boomer behavior. Very boomer. Thank you, Jeremy, for agreeing with that.
Flip said that earlier, and I said I disagreed a little bit. What I said, it sounded like it came from a place of pretension rather than boomer necessarily.
Are they boomers? Because I know Aaron's his 40s. They're like straddling.
I don't know about Heath, but Aaron certainly is.
Aaron's a boomer?
Oh, the video. I'm sorry, I was talking about the Facebook groups.
Oh no, Facebook group. There's a couple people in here that I have to really despise.
Left and right, people are just like we're all collectors in there collecting stuff. And to Ryan's point that he was just saying, it's like we're a community and let people collect what they want to collect. It's like, and then there's just so much passive aggressiveness and insults flying back and forth in those Facebook groups.
Like that one guy, Kevin Hurst,
like, collecting stuff and asking.
We don't need to name names. That's all right. The condescension is one thing, of course, but I also want to throw out there that the amount of gatekeeping out there is really ridiculous too. Like saying, I hate that. Why are you collecting this? Because it's shit. That doesn't make any sense. Video stores asking what video are we referring to? It's in the description below. It is linked. Don't go like shit on them or anything like that. Heath is pretty young.
They're both Generation X.
Yeah.
Which for extremely out of touch.
I didn't mind either. Here's my question.
I love them though. I love both of them dearly.
Maybe you touched on this before I joined, but one thing I noticed, again, I didn't get to finish the video, but they discussed this heavily at the beginning, is ditching this term of collector.
Right.
And that part I didn't really understand. What's the
that's one of the biggest things to me that makes it sound like condescension, because
that's what it sounded like to me, and I didn't appreciate that, because and they're like and then the terms they were using in place for it, I'm like, why can't you be both? I'm a cinephile.
I agree, Aaron.
Aaron, I said I love you to death.
I stood up for that twice, by the way.
He did stand up for it twice, but I love you, Aaron. You know I love you. You're one of my best buddies.
The collecting mentality
Next thing you know, he's gonna have his daughter saying "bad Eric."
The collecting mentality can go to a bad problem, and I understand that, and that's why I was saying, if it's not hurting anybody, do what you want to do.
We all have addictions.
I'm a collector. Yes. For what addict?
Food addict. People.
I thought you were gonna say cocaine, and I was gonna say, with a nose like that, you'd be broke, my man.
No, I love that you say that. As Nathan says, if I didn't smoke weed, I probably wouldn't love bad movies as much as I do.
Hey, Nathan, if you quit smoking weed, you have a 401k. Just put the money.
Again, something you can have both of.
I think we have a lot from Gen X here.
Man, you guys are all so old.
Compared to you, everyone is.
How old are you, Jeremy?
I just turned 30.
Yeah, that's right, brother. We're both version 3.0.
Boom.
Third of our lives are gone, baby.
Oh, I just had my midlife crisis.
I'm having it right now, dude. Having it right now.
That was.
Is collecting a sickness? No.
Did someone say that?
No. Everyone has a hobby.
They asked a question.
Everyone has a hobby, dude.
Yeah, that's the part I didn't like about the video, like what you were saying, Ryan. I just didn't like it. Did sound pretentious. It's like, why can't you be a collector? I'm a collector and a cinephile. You can be a cinephile and not be a collector.
I do not like the term.
You can really love film but not collect physical.
I
media.
do, and I'm not joking. Like audiophile, cinephile, this stuff just.
Oh, the term?
Yeah, I don't like it.
What was the term the other guy said? Well, I don't even remember.
Curator.
Curator. We don't have to go any further.
Well, and that's I've got a sign on my wall that says disconnected museum and library, and to a point I see it as such. And so I curate what I can, but if I only watch what I had watched growing up, I wouldn't be able to discover most of these films.
Right. But just because you could consider yourself a curator and you have that sign doesn't mean that you're against the term collector.
I like Eric's. Yes, mine's sick too, dude. Mine's sick as fuck.
By the way, Aaron says the other guy is right here. That Jeremy, that is Aaron from the video.
Hi, Aaron. I didn't mean it.
Why don't we put Aaron on?
I literally didn't.
Why don't we bring him on?
I literally just forgot his name. I didn't mean
Send
the
Aaron
other
a
guy.
link.
Like the other guy.
I'm on it. If he'll come on.
I love Aaron. Aaron. I do want to say though, being like, oh, I'm not a collector, I'm a cinephile, whatever. It's like this kid who it's very much along the same line. Someone said I wasn't a chef because I didn't go to school. Come on, dude.
And that's a part of the gatekeeping that I was talking about. Like the amount of people that say I don't even know the best thing. Like the people that love Vinegar Syndrome, they get like that a lot of times. If you're not buying from Vinegar Syndrome, you're a piece of shit, basically. It doesn't make any sense.
If you do buy Vinegar Syndrome, you are a piece of shit. Just look at what they put out.
There's people that say that too.
And that is absolutely true.
When you say if you're not buying from Vinegar Syndrome, you mean buying the titles from elsewhere?
No, literally just buying them at all.
Like if you're not participating in collecting Vinegar Syndrome, you're a piece of shit.
Yes, because they treat it like a cult.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I just try. Well, I think you already know, Ryan. I've kept my distance from the groups and things and all that stuff. I don't like all the negativity. Like everything we're talking about, it's just like I'm just gonna keep collecting the things that I want to collect and keep building my collection. And if I, it's the whole Vinegar Syndrome subscription that people shit on a lot too. In the
I think that's great. I wish more labels did that.
I wish more.
I wish that too. I wish Eureka did that. It was like, hey, you'll get every Asian release.
$300. You never have to worry about it.
You never have to worry. And then if you have the funds, do it. If you don't, but there's no reason to shit on it and shit on people that do it. And then if you and the biggest argument, of course, Ryan, that we always see is like, well, you're not going to like every title. Well, then you sell it.
Yeah, I try. I mean, I have dipped my toes a lot in the Vinegar Syndrome. And they haven't really clicked with me until they started releasing those terrible direct-to-DVD action movies, or the direct-to-VHS action movies.
Oh, yeah.
Talons of the Eagle. I love them. They're so stupid fun. But for me, Vinegar Syndrome was always like an interesting label because they have this huge fan base. And they have like you said, cult. There's like a cult of personality behind this label. But that subscription service has almost got me 2 years in a row. And I don't even like 90% of the shit that they put out. You know what I mean? I'm like, do I really want it? And then if I do it, I'm going to have to get all of them. Yeah.
Stefano says, all I know is this channel always costs me money.
It's true.
And Ragnar, I completely agree. He says the problem is people don't teach children how to save money. I mean, that could be the base problem is that is not, taught at a high school level or even starting earlier than that, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, they don't really teach any life skills in high school.
Well, also this day and age, like I had a job when I was 14. And I think you, as a child, you don't really understand the concept of money or how important it is or saving money unless you're working and earning your own. And this day and age, kids are going longer and longer into their lifespans without ever having worked and like living at home longer and longer, especially out here in Los Angeles.
And I mean, I do agree that minimum wage should be raised, but like from a business owner perspective, we can't find employees. It used to be we would have a line out the door of people who wanted to go work. You know what I mean? Like you work at a restaurant, it's meant to be like a high schooler type gig. You get free pizza. You can show up to work high if you're washing dishes. We're not going to give a shit. How cool would that be? You got music blaring. You can bring in headphones. It's like a dream 16-year-old's job, right? Yeah. we can't find it anymore. So it's just sucks.
It's crazy. Very diverged of topic.
But you could do what my parents did and have a child and make them do it, because there's no child labor laws if your parents own the business, which is awesome. Very cool, my parents.
He says sarcastically.
I agree with the comment about this channel costing me a lot of money. The amount of times I've texted Ryan and ended up spending double what I expected to spend at the store or on a website.
That's true.
Did you ever buy a little Wolf and Cub, Jeremy?
I have not gotten it still.
I will stand up for this all day long. I did, without you, say that he should multiple times.
You did. And it's not that I won't. It's not that I won't, and it's not that I don't want it. I just have not gotten it yet. And other things.
Eric says OnlyFans is taking a lot of jobs.
That's true.
We should start an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
we can call it
these three.
We could call it Ryan should start an OnlyFans and call it the Dick Connect, and it's just him. Ryan didn't get that. Okay, that was. I thought that was gonna be a zinger.
You said he was.
Did you not hear it, Ryan?
I did not hear you at all.
Okay, I said you should start an OnlyFans and call it the Dick Connected.
Well, on that note, I think that we should bring in a friend of mine, Aaron Penn.
Hey.
Woo!
Dude,
how we doing?
Boomer. I'm good.
I told you,
Aaron.
it's not something that should be said.
What, Boomer?
Yeah.
I watched I haven't seen all the video. I'm gonna be honest with you. I saw the beginning of the video. I was hurt a bit, to be blunt with you, because the video that we did yesterday was not meant to be like a negative video. To be just to put it out there. The idea is I've been a collector for years, longer than some of you guys have been live right now. That's the truth of the matter. But that's true. I started with comics back around when I was around like 5 or 6 years old, and I moved from comics to books to eventually movies. And I still collect comics. When we put it out as me and Heath were like worried about the speculator market. I've lived through this shit, man. I lived through the 90s and the whole idea of like a bunch of people coming in that don't give a damn about film at all, and they come in only to make money. Nobody here, neither one of you three guys are here because you don't like movies. And there's nothing wrong with, and I actually mentioned in the video, blind buying movies. I do that all the time. I do that at least 2 to 3 times a year, just because I want to find something that I haven't seen. There's always your next favorite movie out there, and you don't know until you give it a shot. I don't mind like people that are collecting movies. It has nothing to do with that aspect of it. The video is not meant to be negative. And if anybody that watches my channel or watches Heath's channel on a regular basis know that we're probably 2 of the most positive people that are out there in the YouTube movie collecting community. So when we say we were concerned, we were concerned for people like you, not because of people that are collecting, but people that are same in the baseball card days, same in the comic book days. They come in, they say, okay, this is going to be my kid's college fund in around 10 years. They come
comic
in.
Books in the 90s.
Exactly. That's the thing. I'm getting that feeling.
Superman. That's a Superman.
It worries the hell out of me, man, because I want physical media to be around for a long, long time. I want everybody to come in and buy what they want. I got last night after the video, I'll be honest, what was done today, but I made a video in the night, a live video. And I hadn't made a video, like a live video in a while. And I'll be honest with everybody here right now, I was burnt. I was burnt out. And making that video that I did yesterday with Heath, it sparked something in me. And I haven't bought a movie since December. And last night, we bought the Shawscope set.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
What a way to come back.
You had that. That's one that I had to have. And tonight, when the reason I didn't see the video, because I normally see Disconnected's videos right away, is that I was doing a video basically talking about the yellow set and the red set and the yellow essentials, which one to buy. And I thought of it, okay, this is kind of my comeback. And then I came on here afterwards because I said, okay, I like Disconnected's live videos. I want to check it out and see what's going on. And I said, oh, it's something based on what what I did, and something I was very, very proud of. And the first 5 minutes, it hurt, man. It did. Because it's not the way that it was meant to come across. I come here all the time to help people collect. I make people spend money, unfortunately, on a regular basis.
Yeah, you do.
You guys
I've
are
tried.
awesome.
I've dipped my toes in the Jess Franco.
Yeah. I still Bahia Blanca. If you can never see Bahia Blanca, that makes
That's the one I love. That's the only movie of his I really, really love.
exactly.
Good movie.
But anyway, I want to come in because I want to talk to you guys, and I wanted to set the record straight. It was never meant to be like an indictment against anybody that's collecting. My God, have you ever looked behind like Heats with what's behind there?
Oh yeah, for sure.
When I used to go my movie library, which is all like packed up right now, unfortunately, except for a few over there, some Arrow ones that I'm checking out. I got my Gamera set over there, and I got my Godzilla set down there, and With No Eye, which I watch at least every 2 months. I watch With No Eye because it's one of my favorite movies.
Right.
Anyway, so that I wanted to say that, and I'm here.
I
will say-
I was going to say I have 3 questions.
Go for it.
As someone who just got into Jello a lot, I have the red and yellow. Which one do you prefer?
You cut out on me for a second.
He's trying to get in Giallo, and he's got the red and yellow set. Which one do you prefer?
Yellow.
Which one do you like the most?
Yellow. Yellow's definitely, if you're going in first and you've never had Jello before, yellow's the one to go for. Because, see, there's Jello pre-1971 and post-1971. And the big difference that happens with it is Dario Argento came along and he made Birth of Crystal Plumage, and it blew the shit up. It changed everything when it came to Giallo. Before, Giallo was more along the lines of like, there were kind of mysteries, but there were like inheritances, and there was like a lot of money and going around different places, and it was all about the glitz and the glamour of it. And Dario Argento made it about the kills and the murder, and the mystery is still there, but he plays fair. He does show you in the films, okay, here is the exact spot where you could know who that killer is. Torso, which is on that yellow set, or Sergio Martino, crosses over between like Giallo and slasher. And it's there's a Canadian film called Curtains that does the exact same thing in the opposite direction. But both are fantastic films. So I think the red set is good, but I don't think it's going to sell people on Giallo. But I think that the yellow set is going to be one. And you can let me know what your thoughts are, because it might be totally different.
I think yellow is entry level, and red is once you've gotten used to it.
Yeah, like once you've been in for a bit, like once you've checked out a few, once you've checked out some Martino, some Fulci, then these are some of the. That's like when I think of the forgotten Giallos. Remember the ones that came out from Vinegar Syndrome. Obviously, by the time you watch those, you should have watched some other Giallos first, because there's a reason to call them forgotten Giallos. There's some of them are good, but they're fun, but they're ones that weren't like the big Giallos back in the day. But I'm glad to see them. On the fourth volume I don't have yet, but it's super sleazy, so I want it.
And then my second question is, how many of the movies have you seen in the Shawscope?
Oh God, probably most, but not in a long time. So when it comes to this Flip, it would be like your knowledge and Eric's knowledge would be like super way above mine in this genre, like, to be bluntly honest with you. So I'm going to be going into a lot of this stuff, like with new eyes. Like I remember a couple of Muddy Peking Man, of course I remember that. And there's a couple of them that kind of stand out to me, but I'm so excited to watch them again for the very first time. I remember when we did the video when we were talking about our top ones of the year, and you were there and you had the Shawscope box set, and and you guys had the Shawscope set, and I was so down after that video because I'm like, God damn it, I don't have. Sorry, like I don't have that set. I really want it so bad, but I just couldn't afford it. And last night it was on sale, and we're like, it's a bit of money, but we really, really wanted it. My better half, she would be the one that has seen everyone on that set. Like where she's from. She's
so awesome.
She is. She rocks. She's from Morocco, and a lot of those films like would play there. So she loves martial arts. She loves the Shaw Brothers stuff, as much of that as she can get as possible. She'll go away from the horror and stuff like that, but she's there for the Shaw Brothers.
And then my third question is, sorry, I was just gonna say, are you finally moving? Is that why you're just packed up?
up in the air. We're hoping. We don't know. We don't have anything yet. Our stuff may go before we do. So we could be here like 6 months. I could be here 6 months without movies. So it only that Shawscope set would be the only damn thing I got to watch. So I'm gonna watch that.
So what I was gonna say, on here posted a comment. I don't think Aaron and Heath were trying to stir the pot, but I think these sort of discussions always trigger an emotional response because our collections mean so much to us, slipcovers and all. And obviously that end part is a joke there. What I wanted to say is nothing here was meant to attack you guys. I had multiple people message me and say, did I see the video? Because it seemed like people were upset about just literally purchasing physical media. So I think some people were getting the wrong idea because they were reading between the lines. So I basically just wanted to ease people and say, do what you want to do. That was the whole point of this.
And at the end of the day, you're 100% right. Like there's no way that you should collect. And at the end of the day, no matter what we call ourselves, cinephiles, curators, we're collectors of a nature. I collect omnibuses as well.
Right.
You should be proud of me for that.
Make me jealous.
I got I got the Alex Toth, Creepy Presents Alex Toth volume today, and I'm super stoked on that.
And posted a video about it, by the way, so go check out Aaron's channel.
That is such a good book. I mean, I was looking through it today, and I'm just I'm keeping some books till after I move because there's no like English language. I'm going to Morocco, by the way, guys. For those that are watching that don't know me or my channel, so my better half's from Morocco. We got a condo in Morocco. We've had it for a couple of years, but we haven't been able to move. And eventually we're going to move, but it's a mostly like French-speaking country, so not easy getting like English-speaking films or English books there.
It's going to be a rarity, but then that'll make you treasure them even more.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, it's going to be trips over to Canada.
Right.
I consider myself a little bit of a historian because I have, like, with my collection, I think the word historian would be better because I have I'm 23 away from having every martial arts movie that Shaw ever released. I've seen about 80-something% of it. So, and then I have, like, if you were to say, like, hey, samurai movies, massive samurai movie guy, I have probably like 60 movies that are pre-World War II samurai movies. And it's really cool to see their cinema transition after getting 2 nukes dropped on their country. It's wild to watch.
At the end of the day, collector, the reason we just said, okay, we don't use the collector word so much anymore is because there's been a negative connotation that's come about. And I've seen it more recently. And, but don't let that stop you from calling yourself whatever you want to call yourself. Collector. I like curator because curator doesn't mean that I know the films that I'm going to get that I'm buying. It just means it's like, say, I like film noir, and I may not have seen the film noir. I mean, I've seen 10 of the film noirs that I'm picking up, but I'm going to pick them up because I want to have that in my collection. And at the end of the day, if I don't like something a lot, and if you don't like something a lot, and there's a limited amount of space that you got, you don't have to keep that.
Right.
I still think scalping is like, I'm not big on that.
Oh yeah, scalping is awful. None of us agree with it.
Like, and there's a difference between scalping, like selling movies to get rid of films and stuff like that, or selling, like, say, like me. I don't like slipcovers were like something I was kind of big into, and I really, at this point, when I'm moving, when you're moving, you realize like the stuff you're like, oh, do I need this? Like it puts things in a different perspective for you. So to give you an example, like most of my movies are going over in like binders, right? So I get these 400 binders type thing, and and I got the cases, and all the sleeves are taken out, and they're going over in these file folders. So we're taking over some blank cases, and then Hin's like, well, what are we going to do with the slipcovers? And I'm like, if that slipcover is the same damn picture that's on my disc, I'm probably not going to keep that one. And for me, honestly, finance wise, I'm thinking, some people like vinegar syndrome slipcovers. Maybe maybe I can make a little bit of money that way. To be honest with you.
Exactly. And one of the things that we were talking about is the way that these negative perceptions get boomed up is by these smaller communities within the overall community. And like Ragnar commented and said, and I know you'll agree with me, Aaron, because we've talked about this, the Vinegar Syndrome Facebook page is very toxic. It's awful.
Like the group or the official page?
No, the group.
I think they all are to an
Well,
extent.
that's true. I mean, look at Aaron and I have talked about this too. But every time Arrow announces something, there's comments in there saying nothing for me this month because this label's trash or something.
Toxic group. Arrow fans are the most toxic group I've seen, that I've witnessed. Because I'll be hyped up on stuff. Yeah, I mean, I get hyped on stuff, and then you see the comments, and it's like, more Asian movies? Where the fuck is Chainsaw Gut Ripper 4? It's like, yeah.
And they have to go on from that. Like, people have to, like, these companies have to make other things. Right now, the Asian cinema it's big. Get as much out there as possible. People look and say, oh, well, they're putting out Cloak and Dagger with Vinegar Syndrome. I can't believe they're putting out that. They could put out like something super sleazy. Yes, they can. But you know what? Cloak and Dagger is probably going to get them a bit more money, as was films like Rad and some of the other ones that are out there. It's okay to have like some more mainstream stuff amongst your titles.
Well, it's not like it's a bad movie either way. I mean, it's not.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Exactly. That's what I've never understood. The people complaining about that, just because it doesn't feel like a Vinegar Syndrome title to you, who cares?
Aaron's favorite movie of last year, Bullet Syndrome. Great Vinegar Syndrome title.
A more well-rounded palette of cinema is not something that anybody should be complaining about.
Oh my God, no. Like, especially in this day and age when we're so lucky we're getting like physical media releases out there at all.
Exactly.
It's just go for me. It comes along like make the acquisitions. Do it. Get stuff out there for everybody that people are going to buy.
Right.
And don't Chromium cover this for us. Don't give us 1995 Chromium covers with nothing inside. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, Aaron, I suppose that I should say I apologize if anything came across as insulting. I don't think any of us meant it as that. I think that some of
I'm just kidding, Aaron.
So,
you know I love you.
I booted him. So some of the aspects of collecting, it does bring out the worst in people. And one of the things that people, they genuinely, like John just said in that comment, they really put their life into some of it. And when it seems like they're being attacked for it, they feel hurt. And the biggest thing, and I know Aaron means it at heart, and I think I just wanted to make sure that it came across in a clearer way, is that do what you want. I mean, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, which would include scalping, because scalping literally hurts other people. As long as you're not scalping, do what you want. I mean, if you make $500,000 a year and you live in a cheap house and can afford to buy every release, do it. Nobody's gonna fault you for it. Just appreciate what you got and collect what you want.
Enjoy it. Like watch the movies that you get. Like I'm so behind on my I guess a lot of us here are. Jeremy flipped this. I guess we're all behind on our because we have
Absolutely.
that we got to watch, right? We got our watch probably gets bigger every day,
right?
But
the amount of movies in my collection that I haven't gotten to watch.
Yeah, I know, man.
And I watch the same shit over and over.
Oh, that's my fault. Like that's what I do too. I'm like, oh, I should watch this movie that I got, and then I'll go back. Yes, but I want to watch this documentary again.
Last night, I actually watched 3 movies that were on my watch list, all Kino Lorber releases, and had a blast with them. So
nice.
It knocked down the watch list by 3, but it's still like 100, I think, on Letterboxd or something like that. Like, it's stupid.
Obviously, go ahead.
I'm trying. Ryan knows this about me. I don't know about Flip, but I actually try to watch like almost every mainstream release throughout the year, so I can make a very accurate, like best of whatever year it is list at the end of the year, which is something I'm very passionate about. So sometimes I'm so busy keeping up with like the steady stream of weekly releases throughout the year that I'm like, oh yeah, I have like a buildup of Vinegar Syndrome titles I just got that I want to dig into also.
Everybody has talked about these in terms of an investment, in terms of money, but I view my collection as an investment in terms of time, because I've got kids that are 7 and 5, and I can't watch, whatever Gut Splitter 4 or whatever you said. I can't watch that at 3:00 in the afternoon right now around my kids, but in 8 years I'll be able to, and I will be able to watch like 5 for my collection every single damn day, and I can't wait.
I can't wait till she's old enough that I can be like, you want to watch Ogami Ito? Slay some mofos, let's go.
I gotta
I
say,
never plan on having kids, but that's great for you too.
You don't want kids, Jeremy? I think that you'd be a terrible dad.
You are accurate, and that's why I don't want it.
You'd be a great dad, Jeremy.
Maybe. I just
You just gotta quit the cocaine problem, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for coming on, Aaron. I hope that makes sense, what we were trying to say at the end of that there.
Oh no, it does. I mean, like the nicest comment that I got from there, and that stood out when I was reading through the comment section afterwards, because I do read the comments. I don't always get a response. I'm sorry,
Right.
but it's basically that somebody was overwhelmed with everything that was there, and they felt that watching the video, they felt like they could like just go like relax, and not have to feel that it was getting too much. And it can get, like, I've been there, man. Like when everybody's going out and they're doing like the big channels got their Tuesday releases, and they've got like every title out there. And I'm I think of myself as a smaller channeler. You know, I can't do that. I can't buy every release that comes out. I can't get every box set. And I understand, like, from like the people that watch my channel too, like a lot of them are like me. They can't go and buy everything. So to feel like, okay, it's okay. It's, get what you like. It's okay. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Just
exactly.
Don't let the stress. Don't let anything that you do in your life get to a point where you're super stressed about it, where it's making you feel
your own weirdo.
Exactly, and I'm a super weirdo.
Me too, man.
Anyways, this went on way longer than expected tonight. I just wanted to say you are free to collect what you want to collect, and people should know that. And it seemed like some people did not feel like that was the case. And yeah.
But I do have superior taste to everyone.
Aaron, we appreciate you, and more
Love
so
you, Aaron.
than just for that video.
Wow.
I mean, I watch Aaron literally almost every single day of my life. I went to Arizona in October, and I got so far behind on videos that literally today I watched 2 of Aaron's videos from October. I'm still getting caught up because I appreciate his stuff so damn much. But all it really comes down to is do what you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. And that seems to be the mantra of this new, like, Gen Z and below generations, that they understand that you don't have to live up to the expectations of other people. And unfortunately, for more so the boomer generation, but coming down to the Gen X and even like the Gen Z, some of them, they really had the idea of you have to make somebody happy. And that's why a lot of us go to fucking therapy, because we're dealing with trying to make our parents happy. So I get it. It's hard out there. But just do what you want and don't care what people care about.
Eric says he sees Aaron more than he sees wife.
What was that, Aaron?
Have the Gen X personality of not caring. Anyway, just be chilled.
Exactly.
Aaron, you are my favorite boomer, and I love you.
He's not even a boomer.
I know. I'm just saying that because I'm just making a joke. I love Aaron. I love you.
I was like, oh my god, do I really look that old right now?
No, you.
Did I shave my hair that much that I did?
Flip, Aaron, Jeremy, thank you for joining for the conversation tonight. I hope it was enjoyable. Aaron, I hope no feelings were hurt. I love Heath. I love you. Flip really hates Jeremy.
Yeah, Flip doesn't like me, and then feelings mutual. But I like Aaron.
That's the feelings mutual.
Everyone loves this guy. Wait, everyone loves this guy and this guy. Okay. Everyone should hate this motherfucker right here.
Yeah, Ryan. I'm a new fan. I'll be watching Aaron's stuff. I don't even watch that much YouTube, to be honest. I watch pretty much everything Ryan puts out, but I'm going to be watching Aaron's stuff now because what he said here tonight has made a fan out of me.
I watch Aaron so much that my wife walks by my computer while I work and says, "Oh, you're watching The Professor again, huh?"
Yeah.
Well, that name stuck, man. That was so many years ago.
Yep.
I remember.
By the way,
Aaron. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, back when we had a dishwasher, before I was doing it, we would be at the restaurant, and I would catch up on Aaron's videos while I was waiting for him. Or most of the time, he would be streaming super late, right? Like too a lot of the times, and I would be like donating there. I love you.
You
my
are the
friend.
biggest donator I've ever had on my channel. It's like still to this day. Which is,
This crap is
You-
not good.
from my-
Don't say.
you're my better half favorite person. It's like, oh my god. But no, yeah. Back then, like I worked, and I still work the same job, but I used to work. Before the world caught on fire, I worked out from home. So I'd come home. It'd be like 12, 1 o'clock at night. I would be super hyped, and I'm like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna just chill and make a video and just be around people that I really care about. And that's the one thing I got to say. I've been doing this for 10 years. These guys, all these guys here are awesome, by the way. They'll probably be doing this long after I'm retired from this here right now. But, and you know what? That's okay, because you got guys like Flip and Jeremy and Disconnected, and it makes me feel good about this community, because I know that it's in good hands. And more than anything else, I know it's in good hands. And I was upset when I first came on. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm totally going to blast these guys," because I watched this video and I felt really upset. And then I thought about it, and as I was talking, I'm like, these, they're super passionate. And if there's anything that I can just like put out there, is like, be like these guys, man. Be passionate about what you do, about what you collect, about what you get, whether you collect it, curate, cinephiles. I don't care what word you use, just love it. And that's, at the end of the day, that's it. And thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me come in. I really appreciate
I love
that.
you. We need to have you back on. You were a freaking regular. And then
I know, it's just that, like, I'll be honest with you, at the time.
Yeah,
like,
can
I
we get
started
you on
doing my
instead of Flip
first
more
one.
often?
And I basically I was working like really late hours, so I was exhausted all the time, which is the reason.
I miss your old once or twice a week 3.5 hour streams.
I still try to do them, but the YouTube algorithm has been brutal to me. So I've been trying to do. If you notice, I do a few more like shorter videos.
Yeah.
And some of them, luckily, I want to thank you guys that watch those, because
I watch them all.
They caught.
You know what's funny is that I found Aaron's channel from Heath years ago. And then now we're talking to Aaron on the channel because of another video he did with Heath. So,
It's the circle, man.
Circle of life.
The link for Aaron's channel is in the chat there, and if you look him up, he is the Cult of Cinema or Aaron Pin, both on YouTube. We'll bring up his channel. Pin is Pynn. Jeremy is a stand-up comedian. If you are in Southern California, go see him. And also, he plays in a band called Autonomica. Is that how we pronounce it? I've never said it out loud because I've only read it from you for the last 9 months or whatever.
Yeah, that's correct. That's how you pronounce it.
And then Flip and I have a show every Tuesday. We'll be live tomorrow discussing our number 3 and 4 top directors of all time and the films we love about them, because we watch the damn films. Watch what you have. Watch what you love. Be passionate about film.
Yep.
Do what you want.
And if you're in the Central Illinois area, don't come to my pizza place. I don't. Okay.
Don't have to tell me twice.
We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good night. And I should probably hit the end broadcast button.